Welcome back to another episode of Cover Together with your hosts Mara and Bugs. We've got a little bit of a special edition today. Had some big moves in the NBA. A couple things we want to talk about. So, as we all know, we've seen the news. You might have been asleep because I know I was when Shams dropped it. Giannis, the big fish that we discussed in the last episode, he's been reeled in. A trade to the Miami Heat has occurred. So, Bugs, let's talk about it. Miami gave up a lot, and that team is going to look really different going into this season. They gave up a lot of depth. I saw a lot of people were upset about the players that were traded. At most, Khalil Ware might get a second look from me, but Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez, we're acting like Jaime Jaquez is going to be MVP this year. So it's really not the players. I think it's the draft capital that has a lot of people side-eyeing the move from Miami. But what are your thoughts?
Well, it finally happened. That's my thoughts. It finally happened. We've been waiting for a long time. I'm excited that it's finally happened. I don't know if we mentioned it, but tonight is draft night. So it's not all over yet. This trade could turn into a bigger trade. There was talks of Tyler Hero being rerouted. Giannis finally gets to go where he wants to go. I don't know from a team building perspective if it's much better off than where he was. As far as Milwaukee goes, they didn't have nothing, and the trade took everything that Miami had, so now they don't really have anything. Initially, reports were that they were going to be able to roll out a starting lineup of Giannis, Bam, Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, and Davion Mitchell with Bobby Portis coming off the bench. It now looks like they won't be able to keep Norman Powell. Him or Andrew is probably going to have to go, one or the other, whether that's via trade or sign and trade, whatever the case is. So to kind of back up, because we kind of got right into it, the trade was basically Giannis and Bobby Portis for 3 first-round picks for Miami, including number 13 tonight. It also includes Tyler Hero, Yakichonis, I believe is how you pronounce his name, their backup point guard.
Khalil Ware,
Jaime
Jaquez.
And Jaime Jaquez, yes. So, that's a lot. It's not a ridiculous amount, but it's a lot. And you do give up all your depth, which is what Giannis really wanted to have, was depth. So, I think he gets to go where he wants to be. He said he's willing to sign an extension. Now it's just going to be about team building. And I think they get a 2 to 3 year window with this team now.
That 2 to 3 year window won't be this year. I trust the Godfather, Pat Riley, but not that much. He's got to build that bench from the ground.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of folks just sitting out there that are really going to come to the Heat and make an impact. So you might have a solid starting 5, even with the departure of Norman Powell, because like you just mentioned, the money just isn't going to work. He's likely out the door. Even with the departure, you could have a good starting 5, but man, that bench is depleted.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a lot of vet minimums. This is how the first Miami Heatles team was crafted. Except back then you had a big 3. Now you have a big 2 of Bam and Giannis. Back then, they signed a bunch of guys to vet minimums, and it was like a rotating door every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to be doing the same thing with this. I think they have their taxpayer mid-level exception to work with, which is usually in the range of either $5 million all the way up to $12 million, depending on how close to the edge of the cap you are. So if you have some room to spare, you get the most amount. If you don't have any room to spare, you're just given that $5.76 million, which they've been linked to Chris Middleton and Klay Thompson since the trade.
Yuck.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, it was a deal that had to get done. I think everybody was tired of it. So, I don't know. I hope it works out for them. I don't really know what this team is this year. It's going to take all of free agency to see what the Heat are going to be. Mm-hmm. And they can't make any more trades, really. Yeah. Unless you offload Bobby or something like that and you make minute trades, but you're not getting back anything worth of note. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, man. We'll see. Miami, they finally got their big fish. Pat Riley's been chasing one for a while now, and he said for years that he was not going to go all in unless it was for a guy of Giannis's caliber.
Let me ask you this. Before we switch to the Bucks side of things and the other suitor, the Boston Celtics, what their trade offer was and why it fell apart, is Giannis a player you'd blow your team up for?
I don't know right now. I really like Giannis. And if this was 2-3 years ago, I would say without a doubt, yes. Mm-hmm. But his health, and that could be linked to the fact that your team is not competitive. We've seen that a lot where superstars get to another team and they turn it on. Mm-hmm. But his health concerns me. His aging is going to concern me. It's not a huge concern right now, but for what you gave up, and you and I were talking about this the other day, where this is a draft where you can sit at 13 and get a really good star possibly.
Yeah.
And this was like the one draft that you're like, no, we're going to blow it all up and get Giannis. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know, because you could sit comfortably there at 13 and draft either a guard or a forward, and he's probably leading your team in the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. And instead, you've gutted your roster for Giannis and Bam.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know.
Respect Bam.
Yeah. No respect, Bam.
Oh.
Listen, that 83, give it back.
Stop.
Give it back because Kobe didn't deserve this.
I support Bam for 2 reasons.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Number 1, that is Mr. Wilson.
Oh, wrap it up.
Asia Wilson's partner, so I have to support him for that. Number 2, his performance in the Olympics, what was that, a couple years ago? It has to be respected. He was out there doing everything. Couldn't even sit him on the bench or the team was falling apart. I respect you, Bam.
Good for you, Bam, but also this front court, however, is going to be great defensively. Offensively, yuck. Okay? It's going to be a lot of running to the rim. And if anybody can figure out is Spoelstra. Okay? One thing I don't have a huge concern about is his development of guys that he might get in the second round tonight or in future years, whatever the case is. Because he's going to take, what's dunk contest guy, Keishad Johnson?
Yep.
He's going to take a guy like that, and he's going to go from the dunk contest to shooting threes and averaging 16 points a game.
I'm actually cracking up because do you remember when he was in the dunk contest this year and he was dancing and Giannis was behind him?
Yes. That meme
So
has been going viral. Shout out to Mama Giannis for basically leaking the trade like 2 weeks ago also. But yeah, I mean, congrats to the Heat. They finally get their white whale. And, onto the Bucks side of things. I like the haul.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to hold you. I like the haul. I think we'll get to the Celtics in a little bit because that's a joke of a franchise at this point.
Wow.
I do like the haul, though, for the Bucks. There's talks that they may reroute Tyler Hero tonight, which tonight's draft is probably going to be one of the most unprecedented ones in a while because there's a lot of moving pieces going on. And with these new salary cap apron rules, teams have to get very creative in short time spans, and the draft is now going to be a part of that time span where you used to see teams sit back and kind of waited out until free agency. They're going to be aggressive tonight. But as far as the Bucks go, their roster construction, if they keep Tyler Hero, is going to be good. If they don't keep him, it's still going to be good. Regardless, you end up with a lineup that's going to have Jonas at some point, Ryan Rollins, Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware. Miles Turner could get rerouted also. I know they really want to get off of Kyle Kuzma, who tweeted out like he was getting traded, and then he stayed, and then he didn't say nothing else.
He think he Kobe. He
I'm
said,
over
"How
it.
dare you include me in the trade rumors?"
Just retire or something. But yeah, I really do like their roster, and I think that with the 2 picks they have tonight, bro, they're faring really well.
Yeah, they set themselves up perfectly for a rebuild. I mean, they have picks 10 and 13 with all the pieces you just mentioned. They'll have their pick on who they want to keep, who they want to ship off, and, construct an actual comprehensive roster. So although they lost Giannis, their cornerstone franchise piece for however long, they are in a really good spot.
I also was not aware that they signed Taylor Jenkins to a 6-year contract as head coach. So they're locked into Taylor and this team for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a decent amount of building everybody up. But so far, the team building is pretty good.
Should we judge Taylor Jenkins' developmental skills based on Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane and the lack of cohesiveness and performance from that 3?
I think we should judge it for the skills that he was able to make so pronounced for everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as the gelling, I think that was always going to be a tough thing given each person's play style. On paper, it should work, but, given everybody's play style, I think if Jaren was more of a rebounder, that team could have worked. Mm-hmm. But you got your defensive player of the year. He's averaging like 4 rebounds a game. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he'll treat a Khalil Ware, but I would expect him to have the same ilk of player.
Yeah.
And then as far as Ryan Rollins goes, he's not going to be a Ja, but he could be a Desmond Bane. Mm-hmm. He's a really good defender and an offensive. He got a bag a little bit. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This Bucks team, I think they got a shot tonight. I really do. Depending on what you do, and you don't let Miles Turner or anybody that you have on this roster keep you from drafting a specific player. If you need Ade Mara at center, you draft him and you trade Miles later. Mm-hmm. If you need Yaxel, you draft him and you put Jaime Jaquez on the bench.
This is that Michigan bias bleeding out of you.
I mean, yeah, but it's also based on where they're picking, though. Mm-hmm. Those are 2 guys I know for sure should be available at 10 and 13.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really think you need a Kingston Flemings, but if you need Braden or Kingston or whoever, Nate Ament, anybody that falls, take them and don't worry about what you got on the roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we both think Milwaukee's in a good place. I want to pivot to Boston.
Before you do that, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out, we talked about this, I believe, this morning, Jimmy Haslam and how he felt about the trade. And basically he said, regarding having superstar players, dealing with Myles Garrett within the last few months over the Browns, those who don't know, I just found out myself today, Jimmy Haslam also is a part owner of the Bucks, as well as he's an owner full-time of the Browns.
The Celtics, not the Bucks.
Jimmy Haslam?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's a part-time owner of the Bucks. And he basically just came out and said, like, dealing with Myles Garrett and that whole situation kind of left a bad taste in his mouth of superstar players. And he just was wanting to get it over with and not have to worry about taking back a guy like Jaylen Brown, as you were about to mention with the Celtics.
Yeah. So that was a big part of why that trade didn't go through. Also, if you don't know, the final 2 suitors, I think I mentioned it as we started the show, ended up being the Celtics and Miami. They whittled it down to those two. Those two teams were the only teams that Giannis said he would re-sign with. He would sign an extension with. The Celtics, not only did it fall apart because they didn't want to risk it with Jaylen Brown and him not wanting to return, they also didn't want to give up Baylor Shireman.
Or Hugo Gonzalez.
Yeah. So, what exactly do you see when you walk in the gym and you look at Baylor Shireman or Hugo Gonzalez that makes you feel like they are untouchable?
I thought that was terrible business by the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Awful business. And this is the difference between having a front office like you had back in 2008 for all those years, and then having this front office with Brad Stevens, who didn't do a great job as a head coach, honestly. And his roster construction has not been the greatest. And now his sticking points in a trade are Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman, when you've offered up the guy that led your team all last season while your superstar player was out.
Yeah.
And he has been thrown into multiple trade offers in Jaylen Brown, who, listen, I don't love his game, okay? And for months, maybe years, we talked about how the man has no left hand. However, this man was near the top of MVP voting this year. I believe when we were talking about it, we had him slated at like 5 or 6 just based off of the season he had.
He was probably higher within that top 5. I'd say probably the 4 range.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you to just basically look him in the eye once again and tell him, we're going to put you on the trade block. And we, everybody gets it. It's Giannis. But for you to get all the way here, take this risk, and then back out last minute over 2 role players that, what are they going to, they're never going to average 20 in this league.
Right.
Never. At their best, they're sharpshooters. So you gave up the chance of pairing Giannis with Jason Tatum, and you still had Derek White on the roster.
Yep.
Over Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman. That is sick work. That is awful.
I mean, there's nowhere for the Celtics to go at this point. You can't bring him back. Jaylen's going to be traded before we even start this season. I mean, I think he's ready to go. Jason Tatum is ready to break up this little twosome they got going on. And you've put him in so many trade talks, you just got to do it at this point.
I would drop kick Brad Stevens in his chest if I was Jaylen Brown.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, now you got to trade him. Like you said, you got to. And I think the suitors they recently came out right before the draft here in the next 30 minutes was the Houston Rockets, which maybe you do get your KD swap because the Rockets have not taken KD off the table either. I don't know what's going on right now.
The Rockets, to your point, basically just said the only untouchable is Amin Thompson.
Yeah. Yep. And, he's heavily linked to Atlanta because he's from Atlanta. They have the number 8 overall pick. I don't know what the Celtics are doing, but it sounds like to me they're ready to blow it up. In the middle of their contention window, just because it seems like maybe they don't get along or vibe with Jaylen that well, which is irresponsible to do. I mean, he was your finals MVP. They won a ring together not too long ago, him and Jason. This team was on the cusp with this terrible roster that they had this year. And you just said, forget all that.
I could have walked onto that team.
You could have. You definitely could have played center.
Center? That's crazy.
They should have called Jared Sullinger back. Hips and dips.
Okay.
But no, I mean, honestly, because that's who they had at center. They just had anybody down there until they went and got Vooch, who's not even coming back. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah. But the Celtics' glory days, it looks like they're over.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anything else on that trade? I would like for us to pivot into the Nets and Timberwolves.
I don't have much else other than just be on the lookout that this trade could get expanded tonight during the draft.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about the Wolves essentially salary dumping Julius Randle.
Get him out of here.
Once again, number 2 on my bum list.
Bomb.
All right. That's
Bomb.
really aggressive over there. The Wolves traded him to the Nets for a bag of chips and some peanuts. No, just kidding.
They did. Don't make it seem like they didn't.
They literally just dumped his salary. And within this trade, Nick Claxton was also shipped to Chicago.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of everything going on. I, as well as a lot of people, thought the Wolves were clearing space to add Ja Morant.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see a lot of finger guns between him and Ant, and we were going to be having a good old time. However, that's not what we saw. They ended up extending Ayo Dosunmu, which I am a fan of. However, 5 years, 112 mil. That seems kind of steep for Ayo.
Yuck.
So the Wolves are in an interesting space with dumping Julius Randle. They pretty much still have the same exact roster minus him. So, what do you think?
I hope they're not done.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with this if I'm in. Like, please, for the love of God, do something. It's like he's like poking something with a stick and he's like, please, just do something. I mean, there's talks of him asking out now. Yeah. And I can honestly sit here and say, I understand. However, I do understand their approach. They came out within the last hour and said their approach to this offseason is addition by subtraction. They want to take the 13 points that Julius was averaging in the playoffs and his shot-chucking ability, and they want to take those 15 shots that he throws up every fourth quarter and distribute that to Naz Reid, who will come into the starting lineup, and Jaden McDaniels, who will also end up taking more shots, as he kind of showed he can score in the playoffs.
Did you see his reaction when they caught him on camera just out and about and they told him Julius got traded?
No.
He tried to hide that smile so bad.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Jade. Hey, listen, Julius, we don't dislike you.
Yeah.
But, wow. But, you know, Brooklyn is where you should be.
Yeah. Oof. Okay, so just so you all know, my brother is a huge Brooklyn Nets fan. We've talked about it a couple times. He even told me to make sure they got some shine on this episode. But boy, Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle, that's your 1-2?
I'm sorry, Nick. And then this also takes them out of the running for Austin Reeves.
Yep.
Because Randle's contract was so big. Somebody said it's like a form of cyberbullying to send him back to New York after the Knicks win a ring.
Well, actually, New Jersey.
Yeah. I don't, Brooklyn.
Right.
Brooklyn in the house. Yeah, enjoy those 30 points a game you're going to average on 100 shots per game.
30
also
is generous.
I mean, him and Michael are just going to be out there doing the BS.
Yeah. The BS.
The BS. I'm trying to, this is a family show. I hope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, on the other front, also to add to this trade, so Chicago gets Nicholas Claxton. For this trade to be legal, I believe the Timberwolves have to receive cash or something. So there's going to be an addition to this trade, whether it's a player or cash. But Chicago gets their center finally. This is probably the best center they've had in recent history. And I know everybody's like, oh, but what about Vooch? Let's not talk about Vooch today.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Nicholas Claxton will come over. He also absorbs up a decent amount of money for the Bulls, who also come out of the running for Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves' market right now is about $40 million.
Yeah.
Both the Nets and the Bulls dropped down to just under $30 million now with this trade. So, unless he's willing to take a pay cut, those two teams, they're going to be doing stuff with the draft and a little bit here in free agency, and that's it.
Yeah. So what do you think of that Bulls roster? Nick Claxton now, Rob Dillingham, Zach Collins, obviously Josh Giddey's out there.
Get Zach out of here.
Isaac Okoro.
Ew.
Colin Sexton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird. Jalen Smith, Patrick Williams. That's what they're working with.
Are they going to bring back Ivy?
Oh, please.
He said he's available.
Oh, Jaden, please
Find
the help you need,
help,
brother.
I think Bryson Graham, he's got his work cut out for him, but he's doing a good job so far.
Yeah.
Based on whatever they do tonight in the draft, they got 2 picks. I think they've got a chance to turn it around. Now, I don't like some of those contracts. Maybe you can offload Isaac Okoro to a team that needs a forward that plays defense and does nothing else in the league. I don't know what you do with all that. I've also saw Anthony Simons is probably out the door. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, they've got some really good team building to work on, and they hired Tiago Splitter, and this is a brand new Bulls era.
Yep.
So I think they'll work it out. They'll figure it out with that number 4 pick tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think that kind of worked out for everyone, honestly. Hopefully the Timberwolves continue making progress in free agency because they got about 1 more year before Anthony Edwards is...
And you don't think he's looking at him crazy right now?
Oh, for sure. But I think he'll give him 1 more year to try to make it work.
I hope y'all got something up y'all's sleeve tonight. Do something, please.
Yeah. Oof. Okay. I think we wanted to touch on the couple of coaching hires that we've seen. Also, you wanted to talk about the Aaron Wiggins trade with OKC.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, and there's not really a whole lot to say about it, but I had an idea that Giannis could end up in OKC during draft night. Mm-hmm. That has kind of, obviously, that's went away because he's a Heat. But that Aaron Wiggins trade, what they did was they traded him for, I believe, 2 second-rounders. And what that did was open up money, and it unlocked their picks that were frozen tonight. Mm-hmm. So, basically, they were going to have to draft with these picks tonight. Now they're tradable.
Yeah.
So you could use that to go get a guy like Kawhi or, any star that's out there. So I'd just be on the lookout for that. Mm-hmm. As far as the coaching hires.
Yep.
Dusty May. Rusty Dusty. Dusty May.
All right. Before you start ranting and raving, let me set the scene. Dusty May was the former head coach. No, the former head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, coming off of a national championship. He has accepted a position to be the Mavericks' new head coach. He will have a major hand in developing Cooper Flagg. Masai Ujiri, the new GM out there, wanted a college coach. He wanted to bring someone in new and fresh to develop his young team. It was between Dusty, and they were really trying to push for John out of Duke. Ended up with Dusty. So, continue on your rant and rave after I've set the landscape.
I'm not going to go too crazy here. At the end of the day, Dusty did what he had to do for himself. Mm-hmm. I think it's messed up. It's like giving your girl a wedding ring and then just, emptying out your closet the next day and never returning. But, who am I? I'm just a lowly Michigan fan who's been through a lot. Mm-hmm. So, shout out Freaky Sharon. Thanks for ruining my team.
All right. How did we get to football?
But regardless, I think the hire for the Mavs, it's an interesting one. I don't think it's a good idea. Mm. That's where I'm at with that. I understand that the way we're looking at it is, he's a college coach and Cooper Flagg is fresh out of college and he's your cornerstone piece and Dusty has a lot of good ideas. I would say, yes, it could work, but I also would say that history is not on his side. Mm. So just kind of looking at some of the college coaches that have came into the league, you've got John Beelan with the Cavs. That was a few years ago. He went 14-40. Billy Donovan, one of the more successful ones, he went 469 and 413, so nearly breaking even. Brad Stevens, with the Celtics, he went 354 and 282. So also not too bad, but not really anything to show for it. Then you've got names like Fred Hoiberg, Lon Kruger, Rick Pitino, and John Calipari. They all had losing records. History is not on Dusty's side, but we'll see what happens.
That was laced with a little bit of bitterness. To kind of wrap up the Dusty point, he was tired of the college landscape, and, Boogie and I had a discussion off air about the college landscape, NIL running wild, and these kids, you're basically renting them for 1 year. You could wake up the next morning and they've decided to commit somewhere else. We need to put parameters in place around this NIL. These kids need to be signing contracts that state, if we're going to give you this money, you at least need to be at Duke, at Michigan, at Kentucky for 2 years.
Yeah.
If you leave, you pay us a fee, right? For essentially breaking your contract. Mm-hmm. We need those rules and regulations in place. There has never been a time until now where the stability of what your roster is going to look like was more stable in the NBA than college.
Yeah.
It has always been flipped. Now we're seeing you have zero stability in college. So I don't blame these coaches like Dusty and even Coach K, who retired just from the sheer fact of, I don't want to do this every year. I don't want to fight to get these kids and open my pocketbook and have to pay them all crazy money to get them to come to my school. I don't blame him for wanting to go to the NBA. They said he had the Michigan extension just sitting on his desk and he just never signed it because he wanted to go to the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this ad nauseum. It's twofold to me. Like, I feel like you sign up for this when you go to college, especially now. But it's also, like, kind of on you. If you want to enforce players to stay, you can put that in a contract.
But that's not how the NCAA is working right now.
It's not, but you can break a precedent. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's... You're not completely hampered to where your hands are tied and you can't do anything.
I think a university would be sued if they tried to put contract language in place, because that's not the NCAA regulating that. All a student athlete has to do is come back and say that's not in the league's governance.
Yeah.
And that's over with.
I think I don't have a problem with the move. I don't enjoy the reasoning behind it. I think it's a little lazy of reasoning. And I also think it shows a small part of your lack of competitiveness. I don't think that it means you're not competitive, but I think it's a lazy argument to say, well, I got to work real hard to recruit every year to bring in a top talent. Yeah. Just because guys aren't guaranteed to stay. Well, I'm sorry that's how that works, but that's just how it works. Yeah. You know, there was a bunch of college teams that didn't get even a shot at LeBron or Kevin Garnett or a lot of these bigger names from back in the day when we were growing up. So did they give up being head coaches on college campuses? No. I mean, so I think it's just a lazy argument a little bit. But I understand what he was trying to do. I know he's always wanted to get to the NBA, so... Good luck, Dusty. You know, there's no hard feelings. You got us a ring, so at least you did that on the way out.
Okay, well, we wish him well at the Dallas Mavs. I'll be interested to see what they do, especially with Kyrie kind of being up in the air.
He's gone.
Yeah.
I think he's out for sure.
I agree with you. He's probably out of there.
Not sticking around for this.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Mike Inori. New Trailblazers coach. Yeah. After they ousted Tiago Splitter.
Did you see the deal?
No, I did not.
So this is why I wanted to bring it up. 1 year deal for a brand new head coach. So not only is he risking his career leaving the Timberwolves as one of the bigger voices in the locker room, which is probably going to add another trickle down effect to Ant. Yep. But also, he goes to the Blazers, and he's not even guaranteed to keep the job.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, to make matters worse, the Blazers owner is so cheap.
Yeah.
His contract is a sliding scale contract.
Wow.
So he starts off base salary around $900,000 to $1 million, and it can work up based on him hitting his incentives.
The Trailblazers, I mean, they've never necessarily been in that upper echelon of franchises or organizations, but this new owner, I mean, he's taken them to the gutter.
Yeah.
He's come in extremely cheap. He's messing up the team chemistry. He's not promoting development with his two-way players. He let Tiago Splitter walk because he didn't want to pay him. Yep. You're offering this first-time head coach just a 1-year deal on a sliding scale. I mean, this is terrible.
He has only one guaranteed year on his deal, and they basically can wash their hands of him. He will be the most underpaid coach in the league by far, by millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And he's going to basically be asked to work miracles with this roster and then prove his worth, basically. And I get it. You get the opportunity to be a head coach. You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But, man, I mean, what a shot in the foot if it doesn't work out for Micah. So I'm rooting for you, man. I do not like that owner at all.
Absolutely not. I'm really upset that Dame is out there again. Dame is one of my favorite current players, if not my favorite. Just his fluidity, the way he shoots the ball, the way he play makes. Big Dame time fan over here. Upset that he's spending a year out there in Portland with that cheap owner. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so I think we want to just get in really quick last minute, at least I do, last minute predictions on who's going to go 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The draft is actually starting on our TV as we speak. So yeah, let's do this quickly.
Yeah, I think for sure it's AJ.
I agree.
I think Darren follows. The Grizzlies would be a fool not to take Cam at 3. Mm-hmm. And then Caleb, I think, falls to 4.
I agree with all of that. I have no differing opinion on any of those, especially with Trey opting into his deal, or not opting in. He signed an extension with the Wizards, and Darren making it pretty clear he wants to be a point guard in the league. I think they'd be a fool not to take AJ Devonta at number 1.
Real quick, any trade predictions for tonight? Any big names you see on the move?
I don't know. I don't think I see any other than Kawhi.
I could see Anthony Davis possibly.
Well, yeah, he said if they don't give him an extension, he wants out.
Yeah, maybe Jaylen Brown, maybe Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
We don't know, but yeah, so we will see. It's going to be an interesting night as the draft is about to start, so I think that's a good place to kind of wrap up. Mm-hmm. We thank you guys for listening. Thank you for taking in this emergency pod. We will do these every single time we have a big story to cover. We always want to do that. So
yeah, for sure. All right. Thank y'all for listening to us, and we will be back later.
Peace.